Welcome to this video, which is all about the idea of online CVs or portfolio websites for your own personal brand. So in this video, we're going to look at some of the advantages, some of the reasons why you might choose to create a website for yourself, to showcase the skills that you have and to try and land clients or perhaps a new job. We're going to look at some of the reasons why you might choose to do it this way. And in case you're not quite familiar what a portfolio website or an online CV site is, really we're all familiar, aren't we, with businesses or companies that have websites. Well, the principles behind them are very much the same, but instead of them being there to promote a particular business or a company, they're there instead to actually act as an online CV, just that. So potential employers, perhaps potential clients, can actually visit our website, interact with it, no differently from how they'd interact with any other website. But the key difference is, instead of it actually belonging to an organisation or a big company or a business, it actually is there to represent yourself, to represent an individual instead. So think of it as being like the progression after having like a LinkedIn page or a Facebook page that you use for work. It really is there to act in much the same way as a CV does, but instead of having to print out another CV or email another CV to another potential employer, you've got your website there online, and it does serve more than just that sole purpose. So we're going to actually have a look at some of the main advantages and reasons for why you might choose to have a website for yourself or for your own personal brand. They are pretty much the same thing. When we say your own personal brand, it's all about how you represent yourself online in terms of the work environment. So what are some of the advantages to actually having an online CV/portfolio website? So we can say an increase in terms of how many people can see you. So let's say increase in visibility. If people are searching on social media sites or search engines, then the likelihood is, if you're doing digital marketing well, and that includes search engine optimization, more potential employers, more potential clients are going to be able to find you versus the traditional way of actually just typing up a CV the old-fashioned way and sending that across. The next one that always springs to mind for myself is professionalism. I just think that any individual that's going to go to the effort of having their own website created, it just demonstrates like an extra added dimension of professionalism. I also think, and this ties in with professionalism, commitment as well. If you're going to go to the effort and trouble of actually having a website created about something, it shows that you're quite committed to that. And a lot of employers do look for commitment as well. Certainly smaller companies where they appreciate that it actually costs time and money to take on new employers, to train them up, and to train them up. People are often looking for a level of commitment when hiring. I'm going to write clarity here, and I'm going to explain what I mean by clarity. So instead of positioning yourself just as a graphic designer, what you can do is be more specific and clarify the exact sort of services that you want to offer, either as a freelancer, for instance, or as an employee. So you could say that you're a graphic designer that specializes in using Adobe Illustrator, creating vintage style vectors. That's what your area of speciality is. So this is about, ensuring that you're suitable for the job and the job's suitable for you as well by, skipping the initial conversation. If this is going to be where somebody's going to reach out to you to see if that you're a specialist in an area, if you can already demonstrate that you're able to do that on your portfolio website, then it's going to skip you ahead a couple of steps, isn't it? A word that I just said then is demonstration. So we can say demonstrate, it's a perfect place to demonstrate your capabilities. And actually, arguably, this is what a portfolio is about more than anything. It's having the capacity and the ability to be able to demonstrate the quality of your work. So just to recap the ones that we've been over so far, if you've got your own personal website that's online and you're marketing it well, then you're going to have an increase in visibility. to clarify that, I mean, more people should be able to find you. Ideally, people that are in a position where they can hire you. It does add a level of professionalism. It demonstrates a level of commitment as well. You know, if you've got a website that's created that says it, like you want to be a videographer, for instance, you know, it shows that you are committed to that. Clarity, you can really clarify and specify as well what it is that you are interested in doing, specify your exact skills, for instance. You can demonstrate in a much more interactive way. This is especially important for industries or careers or job opportunities that are very visually led as well, and that is not an extensive sort of criteria in terms of the sort of things that it can demonstrate, but certainly visual jobs. So a tattoo artist, for instance, or a traditional artist, a photographer, a graphic designer, videographer, anything that requires something visual. Websites are an amazing way of being able to demonstrate your skills. But again, it doesn't just have to be visual things as well. Let's just think, audio, for instance. As far from visual as probably you're likely to get. Just like audio quality stuff. So if you're like a sound technician or something, perhaps you can upload a piece of the audio that you've worked on to the website. Again, just a really good demonstration of the work that you've been able to do. In with demonstration as well, I'm actually going to put what would the word be, not feedback, but referrals. I'm forgetting what the word is. So you've got the people that are putting reviews on your site, for instance, people that are backing you up, people that are saying they've worked with you. There's similar features on LinkedIn, but it's another place that you can do it online as well. And the last one here, because I don't want to go on and on with all these different sort of advantages, these should be enough. But one that really, really can make a huge difference even in the work capacity is the fact that it's more personable, it's more interactive. The people that are reading this site can really get a better idea, a better understanding of who the person is that's behind this website. So obviously, if you've got a website, there's so much more you can do with that than a traditional site, and even a lot more that you can do with this versus having a LinkedIn page, for instance. Really, there is no limit in terms of what you can do with a website other than your own development skills and your imagination. And even when it comes to what technical skills you have, there's so many packages and plugins and things that you can get for your website now that even somebody that knows very little, if not zero coding, can actually create an amazingly interactive experience via a website now. So having a website for your own personal brand, for yourself almost, is there's tons and tons of advantages, tons and tons of benefits. So now we've got an understanding of what the reasons are for having one. Let's just really, really quickly look at what you'll need if you want to get ahead and actually create your own personal website. Just to clarify on this, we're not going to spend too long looking at how you're going to set your website up, because we actually have separate videos dedicated to that. But just to give you an idea of what you'll need a web building program or platform such as Wix, Squarespace, or WordPress. Don't jump straight into any of these without checking out our other specialist videos as well, because there's kind of ways that you can go wrong with this almost. For instance, with WordPress, there's a couple of really big variations in terms of the WordPress options that you want to go ahead with. If you go with the one that commonly is used, unfortunately, you're going to find yourself quite limited in terms of what you can do there. So if you're interested, definitely check our other videos on setting up websites. But just to give you an idea of what you'll need something like Wix, Squarespace, or WordPress. You essentially need somewhere to develop your website. You need hosting, which is how your website is hosted online. Wix and Squarespace, and one of the versions of WordPress actually already come with this built in. We actually suggest going with a self-hosting option, which again is explained in a lot more detail in our specialist videos. And you'll also need a domain name as well, which is your examplewebsite.com or .co.uk or whatever it might be. So that is your domain name. So with these things, really you can get ahead and set up your own website. If you've got coding experience, obviously you can code this from scratch, HTML, CSS, JavaScript, or use something like Python and Django, and then upload it with Netlify or a similar solution. But really, the majority of us are going to be going with the options above, so I'm going to leave that bottom one out. So hopefully this has introduced you to the idea of having a portfolio or online CV style website.